Good morning, West Coast, and good afternoon to you, East Coasters. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. My name is Persephone. I'm the webinar coordinator here at Tinuiti, reporting to you live from San Diego, California, and I'll be your host for today's event. And we're going to be covering Conquering Q4, a holiday planning series for marketers. This is our second day of our 3-day event. Before we did dive into logistics, I just wanted to give all of our attendees a huge thank you for taking the time to join us today. We know your time is extremely valuable, but we're excited that you decided to spend it with us here at Tinuiti. So here's a quick timeline. The year's biggest shopping holidays from Cyber Week to Christmas are just around the corner. So this series is going to be the only Q4 checklist that you'll need for 2020, where we'll cover how to build the ultimate Q4 marketing mix, budget allocation tips, channel diversification across marketplaces, paid media, and email marketing. So throughout the next 2 days and 11 sessions, you'll learn from Tinuiti's experts and partners, a total of 21 speakers, to identify areas of opportunity for improvement across your IMS strategy to position for success this Q4. And then we will be having a live Q&A at the end of every session, so please come prepared with questions. Now, here's our logistics slide. So for anybody that hasn't joined our webinars before, the platform that we're using is GoToWebinar. Please submit any questions that you have in the chat box to the right. I'll be sure to add this to the queue of questions for our speakers at the end. And then there's a few resources available for you to download, so feel free to check these out when you get a chance. And then this webinar is being recorded. I'll be sharing it by the end of the week for you to reference and share with your colleagues. And if you're having any trouble accessing these features, just go ahead and let me know. I'll troubleshoot the issue in the back end. And then a little bit about Tinuiti for anybody that's just joining us for the first time as well. Tinuiti is a performance and data-driven marketing leader. We focus on every aspect of the customer journey across the triopoly of Google, Facebook, Amazon, and beyond. And today we deliver the best-in-class data analytics, creative execution, and of course, exceptional strategists as well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first speaker for today. So we have the pleasure of having Tim Hurd, who is Group Director of IMS. So Tim's experience has been focused developing strategic digital marketing campaigns, incorporating search, social, pragmatic, and affiliates to drive client performance within financial, retail, education, and CPG verticals. A top priority for Tim is bringing first-to-market opportunities and tests his clients to position them as a leader in the market. Welcome, Tim. We're excited to have you.
Excited to be here.
Alrighty, and then before I kick it off to Tim, I'm just going to go ahead and launch our first poll. So let me get that queued up for you. Alrighty, and I just went ahead and launched that for everybody. So here it is. How are you allocating your media mix throughout the consumer journey and marketing funnel? So we have a couple of options here. First one is focused mainly on down funnel conversions, split across awareness, recognition, acquire, and nurture. Maybe focused mainly upper funnel and creating intent, or you're not very sure. Either way, you're in the right place to learn. And then I see about a third of you have voted, so thank you to everybody that voted. I'm going to go ahead and share these results. Alrighty, so looks like we have almost an even split between two answers, so split across awareness, recognition. Second place we are focused on down funnel conversions, which is no surprise at all. 20% not too sure, and then 5% focused mainly on upper funnel. Alrighty, and without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you, Tim.
All right, great stuff. So, all right, I'm going to get into this pretty quick because there's definitely a lot of information that we can go through. Going through our strategic approach and what we do for clients on a year-long basis, but also in Q4 and holiday, activating that audience first approach, media strategy and activation, and looking at our holistic measurement reporting. So how do we win the strategic approach we have? And what we're thinking about here is we want to strategically amplify a brand to the audiences that they want to get to, creating that awareness, generating consideration, acquiring new customers, but then also once you acquire those new customers, growing lifetime value through some of that nurturing that we would do. So getting them to be repeat purchasers. And the way that we're doing that is through what we call GAMMA, right? And the first thing here in the G is our goals and strategies. So when you think about putting together a strategy for yourself, what are your set goals and how can you tailor your strategy for your unique objectives? The second part is your audiences and targeting. So you really have to know, based on your goals and based on your strategy, who are you actually targeting and how are you going to get to them? When you have your audiences, you have your targeting, you need to align that with all your creative and messaging. So having the ideas and the creative and the visuals that are going to push people through that consumer funnel, ultimately lead them to convert. When you're launching media, it's measurement, testing, and learning. So you're going to have a lot of these different media platforms live for yourself to hit people based on where they're at in that funnel. So how can you use those insights to really understand the next move you're going to have? And the last one being the A, acceleration and optimization, ramping up quickly and really looking for efficient maximum growth based on that data you're getting. So if we keep going on here, on the next slide, we're looking at really to win, your strategy must. There's a couple things here that I'm just putting in that I think are important. The first one being attacking the competition, right? So how can you steal share with a really disciplined optimization plan that's really, it's rooted in your performance, right? So you have these channels, how are you gonna actually use them to efficiently find that white space and deliver your message? Again, we talked about this, optimizing through data. So really taking it down to that surgical approach to targeting and optimization that's really gonna find those opportunities for you. Measuring every touch point. You're gonna have media live. You can't go live with a piece of media unless you can measure the performance of that media. So really collaborating to define what your measurement framework is because not every piece of media within the funnel is gonna have the same KPI. Next is integrating everything, right? We have to make sure that we know how all our different media is working together, all our platforms are talking to each other, CRM, sales, revenue, that we can be able to look at all those things based on the touch points. Being present and disrupting, really impactful creative and messaging that's going to show your value proposition and getting people to consider, retain those people and really show persistence. And then the last one being test, test, test. Now, as you have your strategy, you know your audiences, you use your experience then to really turn some of the challenges you have into opportunities. And these are just some examples that I wanted to put together for as you head into Q4, these are some of the things that you might be facing, right? So there might be fierce competition coming into the marketplace and really seeing how you can track and monitor your competitors' behavior. Again, see where they're actually using their media dollars, what kind of creative they have in market, how you can differentiate yourself and be able to find those spaces that you can really efficiently drive towards your goal. Higher costs are going to happen, higher CPMs on Facebook, increased CPCs on Google. Really look at that creative, that sophisticated approach in brand storytelling that's going to be able to bring people into your funnel, create some of those audiences that you're going to be able to target and really start to bring in qualified customers at a cheaper rate. Persistence rates. So what I'm talking about here is it's great to get somebody to buy one time, but it's better to get somebody to buy 2 times, and really we're trying to get people to buy 3 and more times. So how can we integrate all that data that we have at our fingertips, right, to be able to go back out after these people with a specific message, try to find the next optimal product or next expected product that they're going to buy, and how can we target those people that way? Creating awareness for yourself, right? Making sure that your consumer knows the products that you have in market and being able to strategically amplify your brand message across channels. And then reputation, right? If you might not have, or people might not know you to what you want them to know you as, really utilizing your creative, your messaging, your value propositions across all these channels within media, and really partnering your marketing and PR teams to make sure that you have that sequential messaging that's going to be relevant to your audience. So fueling your holiday performance, we want to do that with a maniacal focus on integration, innovation, and brand storytelling, which we've been talking about. So breaking down your data silos, accurately tracking across that consumer journey, have an always-on cross-channel tech integration. So if you're going to be running programmatic and you're going to be running social and then paid search and even your earned organic, making sure that those all can talk to each other and you're understanding what people's touch points are so that you can then optimize what your media mix is going to look like. Innovating through emerging media, right? So this is something where 10 years ago, it might have been just search and display and social. There's many more places you can get to now, and there's many more places where you can find some white space and talk to your consumer the way they want to get talked to. And the last one is that brand storytelling with sequential creative that we'll talk about a little bit. So integration is really critical to scale efficiency, and that's unifying all that marketing data into one place where you can have better segmentation. You can make that data more actionable. You can create some dynamic audiences, some qualified retargeting audiences. They're going to be able to use across all your channels, right? If somebody's going to engage with something from a programmatic standpoint, you know what they saw, you know what was relevant to them, so now you know the next step for them. Using your reporting and analytics to run smarter campaigns and constantly having those feedback loops, and really driving more profitable campaigns throughout the entire journey. Increasing your market share. So like I said, it used to be just search, social, display. Now you can get to your audience within audio, within OTT, within digital out of home. So finding new platforms, finding new ways to drive performance on those platforms, and using an audience-first approach. And you can see some of the different places we're finding here. So you're finding your consumers in spaces and platforms where they're spending their time and not just pushing to where you think they are. And utilizing your creative, right? So build trust and authority. It's an expectation economy. Every experience somebody has in a digital environment is they expect that next experience to be either the same or better. Right, so make that relevant kind of journey for them, have it speak to exactly what they want, control your narrative, and really create multiple entry points from an end-to-end experience. So what we talk about here, activating an audience-first approach, really you can go to the next one, is what that consumer journey looks like. And this is an example. It's not going to be the same journey for everybody. This isn't going to be the only journey. But if somebody's net new to you, creating a 30-second awareness video, and then taking that route to see if I serve them another 3 sequential videos after that, what are the touch points that they've had that I then know what creative I have to have in market, what platforms I'm going to want to have in market, and really have that drive my decision. So you can see throughout each of these, we're going to let the consumer tell us where they want to get talked to and what's actually relevant to them and what we're doing. And some of the questions we ask for each stage of the funnel. Right, what's that expectation gap? What are consumers looking for during holiday at this stage of their consumer journey, and what's their barrier for moving forward? From a strategic standpoint, how will brands meet and exceed their customer expectations? What can you really say and deliver that's going to be important to them? Creative opportunities. What is the job of creative within this kind of strategic action, and how do we personalize it to that? And what channels are we going to use? How are we going to have creative vary based on the channels and previous touch points? And here you can see, a diverse media is really needed. And this is kind of an example of how we look at what that actual audience is, whether it be CRM, whether it be, site engagers, 1 or 2 time purchasers, what the messaging can look like for them, what the channels that you're going to run or want to run for them. And like I said in the beginning, what's the KPI that's going to be important for them? So qualified new retargeting audiences, ROAS, site engagement, cost per new customer. All these things are ways you're going to be able to evaluate the performance of your campaigns. And we can fly through some of these. It's something you could look at afterwards, but just looking at what our integrated approach is, how we're going to look at the tactics for each one of these different channels that we're running throughout paid search and paid social, what you can do from landing pages. And it's really kind of some of those tactics that we think about that are important, kind of how we're also looking at the different platforms we have. So cross-channel measurement platform. So we introduced Mobius, and really what it is kind of our proprietary suite of marketing intelligence of media activation that really empowers businesses and marketers to really understand every data touch point, which is really important when you're using all these channels. We really want to close the loop for your performance, bringing all those different data touch points into one view, so that you can be making decisions, not looking at one separate database or another platform and trying to figure out how I'm going to bring all those 3 things together, but really looking at the 3 distinct solutions that we have to unify, optimize, and activate on that performance data. And then on the last one, just the 3 different pieces of the suite. So it's Mobius OS, which is the piece that's bringing together, collecting, and synthesizing all that data so it can be worked on. The apps, which is really used as the solution to enhance that data you have to uncover some of what those growth opportunities might be. And the last piece being X, as far as this is how we're going to actually leverage that data and use that product data as the foundation for everything we're going to be doing when we're driving some of these different campaigns we have. So really before, the key takeaway here is as you're trying to figure out what your media mix is going to be, the first and most important thing is to set your goals and strategy before leveraging any media. From there, understand the challenges that you're going to face to get to your goal and how you can turn them into opportunities. And last, know your customer's journey and the touch points, measure everything.